The synagogue demon. Have you ever noticed that sometimes the battle doesn't start in the wilderness? It starts in church? The place where everything looks orderly on the outside can be the very place where something hidden finally comes to the surface. And that's exactly what happens in the synagogue at Capernaum. People gather expecting a normal Sabbath, familiar prayers, predictable teaching, a comfortable routine. But Jesus steps up to teach, and the room shifts. Scripture says, "And they were astonished at his teaching, for he taught them as one who had authority and not as the scribes." Mark 1:22. That doesn't mean he was louder or more passionate. It means the truth didn't sound borrowed from someone else. It sounded like it originated in him. And the people in that room couldn't quite explain it, but they felt it. What they didn't expect was that someone else felt it too. Someone no one even realized was there. And immediately there was in their synagogue a man with an unclean spirit. Mark 1:23. He suddenly cries out, and it becomes immediately clear these words are not coming from his own understanding. Something inside him recognizes Jesus long before anyone else does. "I know who you are, the Holy One of God." Mark 1:24. That's remarkable because the disciples don't even know that yet. The religious leaders don't know that, but the spiritual world does. And here's the part that should make us pause. This man was sitting in the synagogue like everyone else. He wasn't chained in a cave like the man from the tombs. He wasn't screaming in the streets. He was in a place of worship, unnoticed, unchallenged, until the presence of Jesus exposed what had been quietly tolerated. And Jesus doesn't flinch. He doesn't negotiate. He doesn't ask for help. He simply speaks calmly, firmly, decisively. "Be silent and come out of him." Mark 1:25. And it obeys. Mark tells us, "And the unclean spirit, convulsing him and crying out with a loud voice, came out of him." Mark 1:26. Not because Jesus overpowered it, but because Jesus never needed to. His authority is not contested in this moment. It's revealed. What's striking is that this is the very beginning of his ministry. Before the miracles, before the crowds, before anyone has fully formed an opinion of him. And one of the first things Jesus does publicly is confront spiritual darkness in a place people assumed was spiritually safe. That alone should make us rethink some assumptions about what it means to look spiritual. The people watching are stunned. Mark says they were all amazed. Mark 1:27. They've spent their whole lives hearing teachers who explain Scripture, but this is something else. This is someone who speaks, and the unseen world reacts. Someone who doesn't just interpret truth, he enforces it. And they walk out asking, "What is this? A new teaching with authority?" He commands even the unclean spirits, and they obey him. Mark 1:27. A man who had been carrying an unseen battle walks out restored, and everyone else walks out knowing they have just witnessed a level of authority they didn't have a category for. Maybe the uncomfortable truth this story